Hello, hello, good morning. Happy Sunday for those of you that are watching on Sunday. And welcome to our weekly Coffee and a Card Facebook Live. I'm just going to move this light. It's super bright and right in my face. Okay, so give me a second to just get sorted here, and then we'll get started. And this will hopefully give those of you that are watching live a chance to hop on and say hello. All right, are we on mute here? There we go. All right, I just want to make sure that I can see comments. So if you can just say hello, then that will help me to make sure that I can see them. Yes, I can see them. Hello, Nicole. Good morning. All right, I need to have a little bit of coffee, and hopefully you guys have yours too. Good morning, Natalie. I see some names popping up. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Good morning, Cheryl. Hello. How's everybody doing? So it's Sunday, June the 20th, and in Canada, and I guess in North America, it's Father's Day. I don't know. I know that the UK celebrates Mother's Day on a different day, so I'm going to assume that maybe they do the same for Father's Day. But it's Father's Day here, and good morning, Natalie. Hello. Hi, Mindy. Hi, Deborah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. So it's Father's Day here, if you're watching on June 20th. And so I have sent my husband golfing for the morning. So he got up and went super early to play golf with some buddies. And so I am going to be doing stuff with the kids this morning. We're probably going to go play tennis. We just bought a family membership at a tennis club close by. Hello, Debbie. Thanks for joining. So I haven't played tennis in a few years. Well, I don't know. It might be over a decade. I used to take lessons when I was younger, and I loved tennis. I love watching it. We had registered my daughter for tennis lessons a couple of years ago, but I myself haven't played for a really long time. So we're all a little nervous about the first time mom plays tennis. My husband's like, don't worry about trying to get all the balls. Just hit the ones that come right to you, because we're all a bit nervous about me getting injured because I don't bounce back as easily as I used to maybe 20 years ago. So anyway, I'm going to take the kids to play tennis this morning. We'll go get a little treat or something. And then we are having a barbecue with my parents. So this is the first time that we are gathering with my parents since before this lockdown. And we're allowed up to 10 outdoors. My family takes up 5 of those 10. But anyway, we are looking forward to just getting together and having a little barbecue and having some time together. It's been a really, really long time. And so that's kind of how we're spending our day. Hello, Rita. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you so much. All right, so let me tell you what we are going to be doing today. So I'm going to show you first the product that I'm going to be featuring. So these are our Ombre Gift Bags, and these are in our new annual Stampin' Up! Catalog. I'll show you where you can find them in the catalog, and then I'm going to show you some different ways to use them. So obviously they are packaging. They're a packaging item, so you can use them to put any sorts of things that'll fit in there. But I'm going to show you some different ways that you can use them as well, just to give you some ideas so that if you do have it or are thinking of getting them or have something similar, then you will have some ideas of what you can do with them, and to just really kind of make them more versatile and meet your needs in a different way. So that's the plan for today, but I would love to hear from you about how some of you are spending Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all of you, your fathers and your spouses and your partners. For those that are missing a loved one on Father's Day, I am sending lots of love and hugs to you. And so yeah, I would still love to hear if anyone's doing anything to enjoy the day. And the weather here is beautiful. It's sunny. It's supposed to be hot today. And so even if you're not doing anything specifically for Father's Day, I would still love to hear how you're spending your day. Mindy, I'm glad that this timing is great for you because you just unpacked them today. Good morning, Carol Ann. Thank you for joining. Okay, so I guess without further ado, maybe I will flip the camera down and we will get started. And I'm going to show you some different ways that you can use them. I'm not going to demonstrate all the projects because this is supposed to be coffee and a card. And so I'm going to show you one project, how to make one project, but show you some different ways that you can use the bags. And if you have questions, please do put them in the comments below. If you're loving what you're seeing, do put that in the comments below too. I love to hear from you. I love to hear when you love projects. I love to hear if you have questions or thoughts or other ways that you can think of to use these products as well. So, and if you can think of anyone that might enjoy seeing this Facebook Live, seeing this crafting show, please do share that with them. And if you're watching for the first time, I should quickly introduce myself. I'm Zara Premji. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and creative coach from Markham, Ontario, Canada. I have been stamping for over 8 years and I love every moment of it. I just love making pretty things, and then I especially love sending them to people. So, anyway, I love sharing my crafting ideas with all of you and hope to inspire you or teach you something and that you can take and do in your own crafting journey. All right, so let me flip this down and we will get started. Oh, I should flip that camera down so you're not looking at my forehead. That was not pretty. Okay, let me get this straightened out and then I will just shift the stand a little bit so that I'm not off camera. All right, hopefully you can see that. Natalie, boating sounds lovely. Oh my goodness. I would love to go boating. We don't live anywhere near a body of water and we don't own a boat, but we have a couple of friends that do. So that's always fun when we get to enjoy that. Okay, so I have here our annual catalog, the 2021-2022 Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. And in this catalog, you'll find the ombre bags on page 137, okay? So it's number 2 here, and they are $8.25 for a package of 20. Okay, so they're less than 50 cents each, if I'm doing the math correctly. And they come in our new in colors, okay? So we've got the Evening Evergreen here. Then we have Soft Succulent. We have the Pale Papaya. We have Fresh Freesia. And then we have Polished Pink. So you can see all of the different colors that you get in here. And ombre is super on trend right now. So I love that they've done these in the ombre bags. And because they come in our in colors, they coordinate with so many of our products in the annual catalog because we have a whole new in color collection. So we've got inks and ribbons and designer series paper and cardstock and all sorts of things that will coordinate really nicely with these bags. So you get a package of 20, 4 each in 5 of the different colors. And as you can see, I'll tell you the measurements. So they measure 4 3/4 by 7 inches. Okay, so 4 3/4 this way by 7 inches. Quite a bit of things that you could fit in here. So for those of you that might be running businesses of your own and have some products that could fit in here, these would be great packaging for that. If you are just giving treats to somebody, if you wanted to put a little cello bag with chocolates or cookies or anything like that, you can certainly do that. I did an event for 70 plus demonstrators and we had included some pillow gifts in their packages. And one of the pillow gifts was a package of dimensionals, which fit perfectly in here. So I'll just take a sheet of dimensionals just so that you can see the width of it. So if you take a package of dimensionals, you could actually fit that in like that. And then we folded the top over and then created a cute little tag for it and dressed it up with some ribbon. So lots of different things that you can fit in here. I have friends that sell Gel Moment, which is like a nail polish company. And so you could fit little nail polishes or other kinds of products for basically, like there's so many different things that could fit in here. So I'm going to show you some different ways that you can use these bags, and then I'm going to show you a cute little project, okay? So let me just grab my basket here and take some of the stuff out so that you can see, okay? So the first way that I want to show you you can use these is you can actually create a gusseted bag, okay? So mine's gotten a little bit kinked here. But the way to do that, so you can see like I've created a cute little, almost like a little lunch bag, and it's gusseted. So if you take your gift bag, and I'll just show you really quickly, if you score it at 3/4 of an inch, Okay, so I'm lining this up with my 3/4 inch mark, and I'm just going to create a score line on 3 different sides. Okay, so the 2 sides and the bottom, I'm creating this score line at 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so when you do that, you have your little score lines here, and you can begin folding them so that you can create a gusseted bag. I just thought this was fabulous. I just love this idea. And so you can just fold everything just to reinforce it, and this is going to help you put your bag together really nicely. Okay, so this is idea number 1, make it into a different shaped bag. Then what you do is you're just going to, because it's, I mean, they're not really thick bags, they're pretty pretty thin. I guess the paper is pretty thin, so you want to be really careful, but you want to kind of create the gussets on the side here just with your fingers. You're just going to kind of do it like that, and then what's going to happen is you're going to create this little triangle here at the bottom. Okay, and then just use your hands on the inside of the bag, and then crease that little triangle that you've made. Okay, so crease that there. Mine's not working as well as it did the first time. And then once you've done that, you just fold the corners into the bottom and you just glue it down. Okay, sorry, it's not looking as neat as it did the first time. I'm doing it kind of in a bit of a rush here, but you just want to gently ease these little triangles and then fold them down, and then you can decorate it as you wish. Okay, so you can put a cute little tag, you can, you know, dress it up with some designer series paper, you can do all sorts of fun things. Oh, hello. Yes, the gusset idea is so just, it's so fun and so easy. So 3/4 of an inch on the bottom and the 2 sides, and then you can create a gusseted bag. Okay, and then once you've created a gusseted bag, obviously it makes it wider, so you can put other thicker things in here. So I mentioned things like nail polish or a lip balm, or, you know, like other chocolates and things like that. You have a wider base so that you can actually put wider objects in here. Okay, so that's idea number 1. Idea number 2 is actually to make a card. Okay, so this is just a, you guys have probably seen this layout before, I use it all the time. But what I did here was I took a gusseted bag, and then I just put it on my trimmer and I cut it down so that I could just take this top part off, and I cut it to 4 by 5 and 5 1/4. Okay, so I'm not actually going to cut this one down, but I'm just going to show you that if you just cut this, like if you just cut off the edge here and then you measure and you cut to 4 5 1/4, you have this beautiful piece of ombre paper that you can now use on a card. Okay, so hello, good morning, Brenda. Hello, Janice. Yes, the ombre is so chic. Thank you, Debbie. I'm glad that you like this. Okay, so I'm going to show this a little closer so you can see what I did with this card. So this right here, this first layer is my ombre, is cut from the ombre bag, and then I ran it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine using my Tasteful Textile embossing folder. Okay, so you don't have to emboss it, you could stamp right on it, you could use our decorative masks, you could even just leave it as it is, as ombre, as just an ombre piece of paper, but I just wanted to create some texture so that I embossed it. And now keep in mind, it is going to be thinner than cardstock, so when you are sticking it down, you want to make sure that you're really careful with what you're using. So if you're using a tape runner like our Stampin' Seal or Seal Plus, you just want to be really gentle with it, but you also want to make sure that you get some in each corner and then stick it down. You can even see here that I've got a little piece sticking up, and so you just want to make sure that you really put your adhesive close to the corners. And if you're using liquid glue, you just want to make sure that it doesn't seep out the sides. Okay, so that's idea number 2. And then of course you can just decorate as you wish. I used the Color and Contour stamp set. This is one of my favorite stamp sets because of course it has flowers in it and it's got really cute fonts. And so I just used the splatter stamp to create a background on this die cut. And then I stamped the flower and cut it out, and that is the card. So really, really cute, really simple, and just a really neat way to use the ombre paper. Okay, so that's project number 2. The next thing that you can do is you can actually emboss your gift bags, okay? So my friend Anne had shown me a picture, and we were trying to figure out whether it was embossed just on the one side or on both sides. I couldn't figure out how to emboss just the one side, so if any of you know how to do that, let me know. But I just embossed the back too. But it's kind of cool because it has this debossed side on the back, so it's not totally plain. And so the folder that I used for this one, let me see if I have it out here. I'll show you how you do this, because I used actually one of our combo folder packs. So I used the checks and dots. And so to do this, what I did was I put my embossing folder in like this. Now generally it's recommended that when you feed this through your cut and emboss machine, you actually go spine side in, but because of the width of the bag, obviously this is not going to fit through the opening. So I did emboss mine this way. So I kind of went in with the opening going in. And actually, I'm going to just show you how to do this, because I feel like I can explain it, but it's probably easier if I show it. Hello, Carol. Thank you for joining. Okay, hold on. We got to be careful not to knock over the coffee. My coffee mug is right next to my cut and emboss machines. I'm going to move that out of the way. Okay, so I've taken this and I'm just going to set that down. It would be helpful if I had some clear plates. Hang on. I'm still waiting for my new clear plates to arrive. So I'm just setting this down. You want to make sure that it's not going to be on an angle, because then it won't go through properly. It's about the width of the opening, okay? So I'm just going to roll this through. Ooh, hang on, I got to switch hands. All right, so you'll see that only one side of it now is embossed. Okay, so then what you do is you're just going to match it up. So you can see that the dots will kind of match up with, you can, I would say probably just eyeball it and make sure that you've got your lines of dots straight. Okay, and you're just going to run it back through. And this just creates a fun texture, right? Like, you don't have to use it. It's really nice on its own. But just for those of you that have them, I just wanted to share some different ideas for ways that you can use them. So I'm just gonna roll this through again. It will create a little bit of a seam because of just the sides of the embossing folder. I'll show you what I mean. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, so it creates a really, really slight seam right here. It's almost not even noticeable, but now you've got this fun little polka dot pattern. You can see the seam on the back here. You've got this fun little dotted pattern, and then you can decorate it any way you want. So again, I used the color and contour stamp set, and I stamped and die cut a flower, and I used a piece of our is it called Pattern Party Designer Series paper, because I love black and white stripes. And then I just added a little bit of polished pink ribbon, and you can add some gems and jewels. Okay, so you can go ahead and emboss these and then create the really, really fun textures. You could use almost any embossing folders with this. If you use our larger folders, like our 6x6, then it'll cover most of the panel of your actual bag. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So that is idea number 3. So here's one of the ideas that I saw in the annual catalog. So let me show you. I couldn't wrap my head around this at first. So it's using the Nothing's Better Than. Let me find it in the catalog and I'll show you what inspired it. So hold on. Yes, the embossing adds so much to the bag. Nothing's better than. Okay, page 87. So on page 87, there's a sample here. Sorry, I should have had this marked off. On page 87, there's a sample here using the polished pink ombre bag. And I was trying to figure out, how did they cut this window without cutting through the whole thing? So I messaged my friend Cheryl. I was like, okay, tell me how they did this. And so they used the rectangle dies and then just flipped it upside down. So let me show you how you do that. Okay, so you take out your rectangle stitch dies and use whatever size window you'd like. Okay, and then you take your bag and you're gonna put it upside down so that the die side, like the cutting side, is facing up. My brain was really not working, so clearly I couldn't figure this out on my own. But because when you're cutting with these stitched rectangle dies, they've got the stitching on both sides of the cutting blade, okay? So you've got the stitched border on the inside, but you've also got the stitched border on the outside. And the reason that's helpful is when you actually do it upside down, you're going to create the outer border will still create that stitched border on your bag, if you know what I mean. Let me see if I have my leftover piece here. I don't think I do. So when you run it through, you just want to make sure that it's fairly straight, and you run it through and it's going to create this window. Okay, so hopefully that helps explain it, and then I'll show you what I did with it. So I had some cookies and I just put them in a cellophane bag. I probably didn't need to put my adhesive on there. So I put the cookies in a cellophane bag. I just used some washi tape to tape it down. And then I stamped using the Nothing's Better Than stamp set. So I stamped and embossed the cookie stamp on all of this. Now, a couple of tips here. The first tip is do the embossing before you die cut the rectangle. And of course, many of you are probably like, well, duh, of course you would. But I was so excited to try the rectangle that I cut that out first. And then when I was going to emboss my cookies, obviously there was like tons of embossing powder falling into the actual bag. Okay, so tip is to do your embossing before you actually die cut your opening. And that's actually another way that you can use these bags. So in addition to using the you can use our decorative masks and a sponge or a brayer or the blending brushes to create a pattern on your bag, but you can also heat emboss them, okay? And I was worried because it was thin. I was like, oh, I hope this doesn't catch on fire, but it didn't. And I managed to emboss it and get all the embossing powder outside of the bag. And then I just put these little cookies in here in a little cellophane bag. And then I used the sentiment from that same stamp set that says, today is a cookies kind of day. Okay, so this is something that would be fun to give as a gift. I was going to give this to my husband today for Father's Day, and just a really different way to use the bags. All right, hello Carmen, thank you for joining. Thank you, Natalie. Yes, it's so fun to use the embossing folders as much as you can. That's probably one of my most favorite things to use. Okay, and now let's talk about the project that I'm actually going to be sharing, because you probably want to see some stamping. So the last way I'm going to show you that you can use these is to create a gift card holder. Now I got this idea from my friend Carolyn Sander. She's over at Care Bear Stamps, and you can take the bag and you can actually create a score line and fold it up, and then it's going to create a little gift card holder. Now a couple of things. So you can create an insert for this front pocket, and if you want, you can actually glue this whole thing down together so that there's no opening here, okay? So I've left my opening open because if you wanted to actually really spoil somebody with a couple of gift cards, you can actually create two inserts. So there's a 2-pocket gift card holder that you can use now. So what I love about this is it is just a cute way to present a gift card, obviously. Like you get the sleeves in the stores, but this is just so much cuter. And if you have multiple gift cards that you want to give to somebody, you have a really cute way to create this pocket. So I'm going to show you how to do this. And to just get your mind thinking about this, in addition to doing it as a birthday gift, we have end of year teachers gifts that might be needed, and this is a really good way to use that. So let me show you how you do this, and you'll see how easy it is. So I've got my pieces cut out, and I'll show you what I've got here. So I've got a piece of Flirty Flamingo that measures 3.5 by 4.5. And then I've got a piece of basic white that measures 3.25 by 4.25. Okay, so that's the layer. And then I just cut out a little scalloped circle using my layering circles dies. And then I've got a die cut label here. This is from our Pierced Blooms dies. And then I've cut out the pieces from my ice cream scoop. Okay, so I'm using the ice cream builder punch, which looks like this. And then I just cut out the pieces of my ice cream. So let me start by showing you with the bag what you do. So the bag measures 7 inches. So you're just going to create a score line. Hello, good morning, Gloria. You're going to create a score line at 3.5 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to score it like that. And I've just created this easy fold on my bag. Okay, and I'm just going to use my bone folder to crease that. And then I'm just going to add some adhesive here. So I'm going to use a strip of my Stampin' Seal and just put a strip here and a strip here, okay? And then you just set that down. Try and do it a little more evenly than I did. And then that's kind of the makings of that's the base of your gift card holder. All right, so then I've taken a strip of Designer Series paper. This is also from our Pattern Party Designer Series paper. And I've just cut a strip that's 1 inch wide by 12 inches long. So I just cut it across the Designer Series paper. I'm not actually using my Stampin' trimmer to do any kind of scoring. I'm just going to eyeball it, okay? And then I'm going to stick that down. Now you want to be careful not to make it too tight around the actual envelope, because you want to make sure you have room to put your card and your gift card in, okay? So I'm just going to put a strip of adhesive here, and then you just want to match it up to make sure that it's fairly straight, okay? So hold on. All right. Okay, so it's kind of just loosely fitting around there like a little bit of a belly band, and that's just the beginnings of how we're going to decorate it. So I'm going to take let me grab my stamp here, and I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday, and I think I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo this time. I used black ink on my first one, but I want to see what it looks like with the Flirty Flamingo. So I'm just stamping the Happy Birthday right at the bottom of my insert here, okay? And then I'll stick this down onto the Flirty Flamingo layer. Sure, Natalie, I will. I'm hoping to do a blog post actually with them, but I will include the measurements in the description of this post so that you have them there for you. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, it's so fun. I've done this before with other of our gift bags when we've had something similar, and it's just such a neat way to add, you know, to make it into a gift card holder. So let's decorate this now. I'm going to use the Treat Yourself stamp, also from the Sweet Ice Cream stamp set. I'll just pull that out here so you can see. This has some different ice cream images, popsicles, cone, the little cross hatch for the cone, some little splatter sprinkles, and then all sorts of really fun greetings. So I'm just going to stamp the Treat Yourself, which is really appropriate if you're giving somebody a gift card, right? And I think I do like it in the Flirty Flamingo. And then I'm going to just put my ice cream scoops together. So funny story, this morning when I went to punch out my ice cream scoops for this project, my punch got completely stuck. Like it punched the ice cream cone, the scoop, but I couldn't actually open it. It was like completely stuck there. So I basically just dropped it on my table because I just couldn't get it open. I dropped it on my table, and then it finally opened up. But I figured I'll just punch out these ice cream scoops before Facebook Live in case it starts acting up again. Okay, you could fancy up the ice cream scoops, of course. You can stamp the sprinkles if you wanted. I'm just, in the interest of time, I'm just going to do this a little bit more quickly. Okay, so now I'm going to just stick my ice cream scoop here. I want to make sure that I'm not covering the greeting. Okay, so that's how that's going to go. And then I'm going to use my dimensionals, if I can find them. Here we go. So I'm just going to use my dimensionals here and then stick down this piece onto my scallop circle. Okay, so just the scallop circle is not, it's not necessary, but it just kind of adds a fun little background and coordinates nicely with the rest of our little project here. Okay, so then I'm just going to use a little bit of Stampin' Seal. Maybe you might want to use a little bit more of a heavy duty adhesive here to make sure that it stays stuck down. And I'm just going to stick that down like that. So you can see how this is coming together. It's pretty easy to do and really fun. And I'm thinking I might want to do linen thread. Give me 1 second. Because I used the crumb cake for the cone, I thought linen thread might look fun. So I'm just going to tie a bow with my linen thread. And what do you guys think of this so far? Are you loving it? I hope that you guys like this. Hopefully it gives you a little bit of inspiration for how you can use these gift bags. I'm just going to tie my little bow here with the linen thread and snip that. So remember, the trick with the bows is just to hold the knot and keep pulling on the tails until you get it to the size you want. And then you can trim the tails to make sure that they are the right size. And you can just add that on with a glue dot, okay? Oh, thank you. Oh, thanks so much for the comments, friends. I'm glad that you guys like it. I love when I see like the hearts and the thumbs up going by. That just makes my heart happy. Okay. So, you know, our project could never be finished without some bling. So I'm going to use my champagne rhinestones, and I'm going to use my take your pick tool. Now, I have to say, when I used to use the tip of my snips to pick up the jewels. Okay, so I would just, there's some different ways that you can pick these up. So you can actually just gently slide it onto the tip of your snips. Now, I'll show you with a different pair of scissors why this is harder to do. Actually, these are pretty pointy, but with the paper snips, the end of the blade is so sharp and narrow that it is almost level with the sheet that you're actually pushing your rhinestones off of, okay? So it goes really easily onto here. Whereas if you have thicker scissors, like if you have, you know, just regular household scissors, they don't necessarily go on as easily, okay? But you can also use your take your pick tool, so you can use the sharp end of that. But I really love using the putty end, okay, because that just helps to, you can slide it off and put them right onto your project. And the putty is less sticky than the adhesive on the actual jewel, so it'll come right off and stick to your project. So there you have it. And then you can take whatever gift card you have. I'm just gonna pull this one off of here just so you see how I did it. And I just took a glue dot and stuck it down. My take your pick tool keeps wanting to come back on screen. So you can just take a little glue dot and stick that right onto your insert here, okay? And then you stick that inside, and your gift card holder is done. I mean, who wouldn't want to get a gift card in a little package like that? I just think that is adorable. So let me show you. I'm going to show you all the projects, and for those of you that joined late, I showed some different ways that you can use the ombre gift bags. So I'll pull in some of the projects that we did. Oh, I'm so glad that you guys love them. Oh, thank you. Thanks for all the love, guys. I appreciate that. So we talked about embossing, and I showed you how you can do that. And then we talked about heat embossing. So you can do a little bag with some treats in there. And in this stamp set that's called Nothing's Better Than, there's chocolates, like in terms of the sentiments, you can have today is a chocolate kind of day, today is a cocktails kind of day. So I don't know what you can fit in here that's cocktail related, maybe an LCBO gift card. But anyway, so you can have lots of different options with that. And then we created a card, right? Just cutting out the ombre piece. And then lastly, we did a gusseted bag. So look at all of the different ways that you can use. You won't even have enough with just one pack with all of these ideas that we've shared. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you have other ways that you've used these ombre gift bags, please do comment below and tell me what those ideas are, because I'm always looking for ways that I can extend the life and the utility of what it is that I'm using. So these are the ombre gift bags. They come in a package of 20 for only $8.25. You can actually purchase these from my online store if you wish. And if you have any other questions or need help with ideas or figuring out how to do any of the projects that I've shown you, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to help. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.